So often, talent waits for the perfect opportunity. Waiting till you have the perfect this, the perfect that. You're waiting to have the six-pack abs, the perfect business plan, the perfect everything. And the thing is that the plan is always going to change. So it's never going to be perfect right out of the gate. Nobody has it perfect. Nobody. It's been a co-creation with Spirit, because I finally decided to get out of my own way and co-create. So when you get this idea, a spiritual nudge, a creative insight, when you first get the idea, it feels really good. The implementation and the follow-through is where you might reach your dark night of the soul, where you feel like giving up. Every single person has felt that way. Every single person who's achieved anything has felt that way. The only difference between them and you is they kept going. Talking with a friend this morning about this YouTube journey. It's like, wow, Leah, you're getting really brave on there. And I'm curious to know more about tools that you use to keep you going. And she's like, I know yoga and meditation and things, but what kind of conversations do you have with yourself? And I've shared some in past videos, some insight into the cuckoo banana-ness that goes on in there. But here's a simple thing that I do, that in the moment, the 2-year-old self in you might have a temper tantrum and not want to do it. I get scared, because really that's all it is fear to continue. It's only when we begin to judge our art, not from an expansive place, but from a, you're so stupid, you should have known better place, that we feel really debilitated, right? Because think about it, when you were a kid and you were just making paintings and things. You weren't like, this painting better make me a lot of money. You just wanted to do it. And you weren't like, this painting better be on brand. This painting better be well received. Everyone better like it. It's only until later on that somebody says, well, what are you going to do with that? That we start to judge our gifts that we want to share. But it's not yours to judge. It's yours to share. And sometimes that's going to be a work of art to you, and sometimes it's not. But the only difference between somebody who is really big, successful in your eyes, somebody who you look up to, the only difference between them and you is they haven't stopped. They just keep going. So when my friend asked me, she said, what do you do? Like, what are the conversations that you have? The simple thing that's much harder in the moment when the 2-year-old wants to run the show is to just say, what would love do right now? What would love do right now? Do I love to make art? Yes. Do I need to know how it's going to be received, and if everybody's going to understand me, and if later I'm going to even understand myself? Or can I be brave and connect in with the love of creation and allow myself the courage to be human along the process and learn from my own art without having to know exactly what it is, and express. And you get to look at what's going on and get to know yourself in a different way and be of service. So that's what my mission is here. But I don't know exactly what is on brand, because I'm learning and evolving. So the conversations that I have with myself sometimes that are negative, why are you talking about narcissism now? That was stupid. That was a dumb thumbnail. What's your brand? That's not the thing you want. Oh, you're doing it all wrong. You should just stop. You're so embarrassing. And then I have to go, okay, I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to evolve. And yes, I'm learning to ride a bike publicly. Or like my friend Kyle Cease says and has made an entire business off of, I'm evolving out loud. That's where the courage comes from, is when you evolve out loud. It's one thing to say, look, I've mastered this thing and here it is, but really none of us are masters at life. And even if you've mastered some modality or something, each moment is new, and each moment can present new things. So in those moments when I go from feeling great and then all of a sudden judging it because I think, oh my gosh, what are people going to think of me? Or am I going to let somebody down? Or I said that wrong. In the moment it felt great, but that is ridiculous. And all this judgment. And I want to quit. Then I get back into myself and I say, what am I here to give? I understand that I want it to be well received because I'm trying to give something, but it's not up to me how it's received. All I can do is look to give. And that's what I really want to do, and then learn the spaces where I'm not love. I'm not my most loving version. And I know after I talk about narcissism, my body and my nervous system gets all crazy. And so I have to check in too with, is this on point with my mission? Do I want to talk about this? Am I scared because it's spirit calling me to do this? Or is my body reacting because it isn't healthy? So these are the questions that I ask myself when I drop out of the ego of just judgment and I go into a deeper place. I ask, what is the feeling? And what is the feeling there to teach me? And how can I face it and be with it and then just continue? I teach empowerment tools on how to get through tough stuff because I've gotten through a lot of tough stuff in my life. I've been conned, I've been abused, I've had trauma, I've lost loved ones, survived cancer, I've started a business, I'm a double parent. There are a lot of struggles, but in the struggle there is strength. And in the struggle there is wisdom. And there is struggle in you, and in that struggle there is strength and wisdom. So the wisdom can only come from continuing. The only way you don't gain it is by stopping. I'm not thinking about how do I look and is this clever? I'm just in the moment and I'm working off of whatever is coming up. And that's really what I teach, which is a very scary place to live because you can't control it. It's not robotic and because especially when I first began teaching, I really didn't have that much experience teaching at all, specifically having that be my career, right? And when I opened my studio 9 years ago, I just opened the doors. I opened a brick and mortar business without having done it really. So I didn't know. I had the blessings of my Meisner technique teachers who have a legacy, and so having that blessing meant a ton to me and gave me a lot of confidence, but I didn't know for sure that I could do it. Desire and a calling to do it. So it was very scary. Well, I would say this little mantra or prayer, whatever you want to call it, before I would teach any class. And I remember my very first class that I taught, and I would just say on the way there, I would send love ahead into the room. This is actually something I got from Louise Hay a few years back, but she's a powerhouse and an inspiration. So she had this prayer that I took from her, which was sending love ahead into the room to welcome me and all the other students, and that I was an open vessel for spirit and message to come through me so that I could teach whatever those students needed that day, and that it was well received. And then I would just already give thanks for it as if it's already been done. I would send it out into the universe and let it be. And I would start every class like that. I would do that every single time. So I do that still when I make these videos. And that's why they're so vulnerable, because I don't know what's going to come through necessarily. I have an idea of what the topic is. Sometimes when I'm working bullet points and things, I have a kind of a script, but really I'm speaking from the heart and I'm in the moment. So often it'll feel really good, and then later I'm like, that was ridiculous, or I feel like I was pulled out of love. But the love and the conversation goes, okay, and then to come back and say, okay, I'm feeling insecure because I think people will judge me, and that's okay. And let me continue. And let me continue to love myself. That's a big fear. And I talk to myself the way that I would talk to my daughter. Like, wow, that doesn't feel good. I'm sorry you're feeling that, but it's okay. It's just a feeling. It is going to pass. So today, like I said, I think I said it already, that I didn't want to do a video today. I didn't feel like being on camera. I was feeling really introverted and embarrassed and just all the things. And I was having that resistance. But my mission is bigger than the resistance. My mission is not to live in resistance. My mission is not to have everything perfect. My mission is to be authentic. And so sometimes I'm not going to feel like it. I'm not going to feel like doing it. I'm going to feel like I have reverted from love, or I did something wrong, or I'm going to be punished. Side effect of narcissist abuse, if you've ever had that, again, I know I've spoken about that in quite a few videos. Sometimes you feel like you're in trouble for something. I'm like, I'm going to be in trouble. The narcissists are going to come after me because I spoke up about it. There's so much stuff that goes on. And then I say, okay, let's return to love and let the message come through me. So I encourage you to just keep going and to just start and then keep going. So many of the students I work with don't even start, because they listen to the voices in their head, or somebody that told them they couldn't do it, or they're not ready, or they have to look like this first, or they have to have that first, or everything has to be perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. And what is your measure of perfect anyway? And will you ever know? Yes, some people do seem to be perfect, and a big mistake is to compare yourself to them, because you don't know. So allow yourself to be perfectly imperfect. My ear in the last 5 videos has been sticking out. You guys are thinking I'm turning into an elf. I don't know. It's happening. And now there's this whole new thing. I'm learning all the cool millennial. It's not even millennial anymore. I can't keep up. See, that's the voices in my head of the pick me girl. And I guess that's the girl who's like, I'm so nerdy, but I try to be sexy. Pick me, pick me. And I'm like, oh God. So now that's something else to worry about. Oh dear Lord. But none of it really matters. It's about returning to love. It's about returning to yourself and having the conversation of, okay, yes, I hear all those voices, and I'm going to be better now. I'm going to make mistakes now, and I'm going to be better now. Just do a little meditation if you're open to it. Right where you are, unless you're driving, just sit up nice and tall and close your eyes, or take a soft, steady gaze at something that's not moving. And first just check in. Where am I? Notice simple things in the space that you're in. Just call them out in your mind's eye. Plant, candle, whatever you see. And just begin to take some nice, slow breaths in and out of your nose if you can. that begins to calm down your nervous system. Noticing any subtle changes within you now. If you're in the United States right now, many places in the States, colors are changing, leaves are changing. We see change everywhere in nature. Temperature is changing, energies are shifting. So fall equinox is happening if you're watching this right now in September of 2022. But whenever you're watching this or listening to this, change is always occurring. It is constant. Take a deep breath in and out. Since you've been listening to this or watching this video, many subtle changes have happened within you. Imagine that all the subtle changes are like a boat that has just gone out to sea. With each little change, each big change, the boat that is you has gone on many adventures further out into the sunset. And now imagine with each inhale and exhale, the boat is returning to shore. It's time to come back home after the adventures. With each inhale and exhale, returning to home, which is your heart. When you get back home, imagine, instead of like a sharp hook as a anchor, I want you to imagine this big crystalline gem, but it's really heavy. And this beautiful, really thick and strong cord, but it's almost this magical, crystalline kind of a fabric as well, that ties an anchor from your boat that is your heart right to this crystal, this light source that is so grounding and yet expansive, freeing and yet really comfortable and safe at home. Knowing that at any moment you're free to go back out on an adventure. But this solid, bright, strong crystal at your core is always there to guide you safely home and anchor you back in to your foundation. Knowing that there's going to be times even when you don't feel like adventuring out, when you feel like you've been on enough adventures and you're scared and you'd rather just stay tethered to the crystal. But know that you expand the crystal and strengthen it by going on all these mini and big adventures. celebrating all of it. The dark nights out at sea, the tumultuous waters, the beautiful sunrises and sunsets, the calm waters and the aggressive ones. Knowing that each time you go back out and return, you are stronger than you were before. Remember how much you've already overcome and how many adventures you've gone out and were scared but came back. And remind yourself now that it's not getting rid of feeling scared or not wanting to continue, but it's about telling yourself it's okay. It's okay to be scared, and yes, you can continue. It's okay to be sad, and yes, you can continue. It's okay to not know exactly how it's going to go, and yes, you can continue. Take a deep breath in and out with the mantra, I am strength and peace. Combining a soft openness and a grounding foundation, sturdy and soft, grounding and free. Remembering once again that you are equipped for your life, that you can handle even this season, especially this season, because all the other seasons have led you up to this point and strengthened you to handle exactly everything that you are in right now. And you have what it takes to return to center time and time again, to return to the pure truth of who you are, no matter how far away you have gone out to sea. And you can forgive yourself for any of the past mistakes you have made, because right now is a fresh start. On your next in-breath, breathe in love into every single cell of your being. And as you exhale, breathe out love to every single person that you feel you have ever hurt, and every single person that has ever hurt you. Send them love. Breathing in and out love now for every single being, every single place, everywhere, all over the planet, and for yourself. Bring your hands to heart center, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bow your head to your heart. Thank yourself for returning back home to who you really are. Inhale your head back up to center. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, you can handle anything and keep going. Please subscribe if you have not yet. And if this video helps you, also be sure to hit the notification bell so you know when these are posted. And let's evolve together, bravely.